Hello everybody, this is Carolyn Serviss and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And welcome to my video. I am actually going to be highlighting a new stamp set that I absolutely love. And to make this card, I used this Botanical Beauty. It's a background stamp, and so it's just one big large stamp. I'm also going to show you today how I use that stamp in coordination, is that the right word? Conjunction? I'm not sure. With our new red rubber roller, Brayer, actually it's called. I did do a video recently with this, but in case you didn't see that, I want to point out a couple of things about the Brayer that you should know. So first of all, it has feet on it. So you'll see on both sides it's got feet. So when you lay it down, if you do have it inked, it won't leave any mark on your paper. And also, if you lay it down in this direction, I haven't tested this out, but I've been told the reason for the feet is so that it doesn't get a flat area on it where it's been sitting flat on a table surface. So you always want to put it so that the feet are holding the brayer up from your surface. And so let me bring this card back in, show you a few other things. So with the colors, I've used Mossy Meadow, and I've used Blackberry Bliss. Well, you could try this technique I'm getting ready to show you with any kind of color combination that you liked. I just picked this one because I love both of these colors, especially together. And then I've also used the sentiment is from the So Sincere stamp set, Knowing You Brings Joy to My Heart. This is a really nice, I will say, really nice stamp set, and I love that it's cut this vertical stamp that says Happy Birthday, so that's a little bit different. And then to cut the image out, I have used the, I think this is it, yep, the Sentimental Park dies that actually coordinate with this stamp set. But I'm going to use this small die to cut out my sentiment. I really like this. I'm going to just show you really quickly, even though I don't have a sample of it out here. Maybe I can just kind of explain it to you. I bought this specifically for this die. Well, that would make you see it better. This die, actually, when you cut it out, there's another die that kind of goes with it. So you can cut this one out in like a colored cardstock, and then you can cut this out in white cardstock. And then these two pieces go together, and so the white piece is going to tuck under. Well, there's really no way to show that without actually die cutting a piece, so you'll have to trust me on this. It actually tucks into this frame, and it's just different. I always love different. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 20 years, so you know, sometimes coming out with new kinds of just something simple and fun just gets me excited. So this is, again, the die set from Sentimental Park, and it actually coordinates with the stamp set. So actually, let me put these away real quick and bring this out instead. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how I inked up this background. Again, the name of this is Botanical Beauty. So this is what it looks like. And you will need the largest acrylic block. What do they call these? I've never used that name before. I'm going to call it an acrylic block. You guys will know when you see it what I'm talking about. So if you don't have this large one, so it's the largest one, the letter on it would be somewhere F. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but all of the blocks are lettered on the side here. If you don't have that, I'm thinking you could also use like any kind of flat surface that's steady or sturdy, like won't push in. So I have the Stampin' Scrub, and I thought, you know, that would also make probably a pretty good platform to be able to do this technique if you don't have that block. So to get started, I'm actually going to bring in something to protect my stamping surface here. Okay, so what you're going to need is a piece of white, basic white cardstock that measures 5 1/4 by 4, and your stamp, your ink, again, Mossy Meadow, Blackberry, Bliss, and my Brayer. So I'm just going to roll this over the ink, and then I'm only going to put it on half of my stamp. Make sure you want to get all the way over to the edges. Okay, I think that's good. And then the best thing that you can do actually is to go run this under some water. I'm going to try, being that I have a baby wipe right here, that way I won't have to go run it under water and come back. Let's try this, see if this will work to clean it off. No, it does not, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to be right back. Okay, I'm back with a nice clean brayer. So I'm going to move my Mossy Meadow to the side. I'm going to bring in, you know, another way you could do this, now that I'm looking on some of the edges here, I don't quite have ink on them, so you could also go over it with your ink pad if you don't have the brayer. I think that'll work. Okay, and then, oh, that's another thing. Let me bring this in here. When you're putting this on your ink pad, make sure that the feet are up, facing the ceiling, so they don't accidentally scrape across your ink pad. And you also want to make sure your ink pad is well inked for this process, which I'm hoping this is. And then you just lay this down right sort of where you left off on the other color. And you're just going to kind of, it doesn't matter if it mixes up a little bit, not a problem. I think I should maybe have inked my pad up a little bit better, but I think it's going to work. So I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to bring my paper in. And actually at this point you might want to huff on it, like when you're cleaning glasses, you just kind of, your hot air will hot air. I'm not insinuating you have hot air, but you know what I mean. That it will sort of moisten the ink back up, especially the ink that you put on it the first time. Excuse me. So I'm just going to do that real quick. And then I found the easiest way to do this, for me anyway, is to actually take my paper and lay it over my image rather than putting the paper down and then putting the block over the top of it. And then you just want a piece of scrap paper, lay that down over top, and then just press down. Now, obviously you could do it the other way. You could put the paper down on your surface and stamp it just like you normally would. But I sort of like this technique better, but to each his own. Okay, and then you're just going to peel that up. Woohoo! Pretty good. I was a little worried about that Blackberry Bliss. It could be a little darker, but next time I'll remember to ink put some ink in my pad before I do this technique. But I still think it turned out really pretty, and I'm happy. That's all that matters, right? When we're stamping, if it makes us happy. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside just for a moment. I'm going to bring in my paper cutter. This is always a challenge to try to fit this in my space. Okay, go out a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to cut my paper lengthwise. I want this card to open this way. Okay, so I'm going to take my regular size 8.5 by 11 and I'm going to slide it in at 4 1/4. Can't see that. Okay, 4 1/4. So here's your 4-inch, then go over to the 1/4 mark and cut. And then I'm going to, this sideways, I'm going to bring this edge over to the 5.5 inch mark. Excuse me for my froggy voice this morning, I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, and then I'm going to use my score tool to score it. Alright, I can set that aside. Then I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm going to bring in my bone folder, make sure my corners are together. And then a good tip to remember is always start your bone folder in the center and go out. I even like to turn mine over and do it from both sides. That will help your card to not go a little wonky and then the corners, you know, not match up. Okay, so then all I have to do is put this down. So I need my glue. I'm going to zoom back in again. You can see this closer. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to use my Tombow mono adhesive glue. Ooh, that came out good. Brand new bottle, that's why. Okay, put some glue on the back. Line this up so that there's about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Press down. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss machine. Go this way. And I'm going to bring in my die that I mentioned earlier. Well, actually, I want to stamp that first. Okay. Alright, so again, I'm using the Knowing You Brings Joy to My Heart that's from the So Sincere stamp set. Okay, and I'm going to stamp. Then close this back up. And now I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss. Okay, so my, I never remember what this is called. There's actually a name for this, but I'll call it my recipe. So you're going to want your plate number 1, plate number 2, and then your cardstock with your message, your sentiment. I'll lay this in here and just line that up. Now, I will say you could actually put a piece of washi tape or any kind of masking tape on this if your die wants to slip around on you. I'm going to be super careful and hope mine doesn't. There, I didn't think it did. And then I'm just going to roll that through. Okay, there we have that. This undone. Voila. Isn't it a pretty die? I really like the dies in this Sentimental Park. I just think they're different and very pretty. It also has like little flowers that you can die cut to add over the top of these little flowers here. I'm not going to do that because I don't think it's necessary on this card. There's enough going on without me doing that. Okay, and then next I'm going to take some dimensionals. I'm going to take some ribbon. Now, I looked in the catalog to see if we actually had any current ribbon that was Blackberry Bliss, and I did not see any. So I am using retired ribbon. If you don't have any in this color, You can either change the colors that you're doing your card with, or you can take white ribbon and your ink pad or a trying to think, or stamping blends. I'm trying to think if those come in Blackberry Bliss. I believe they do, but if they don't, that's what I would recommend using, is the blends, and you just color over the white. If you don't have a blend, what I would suggest you do is open your ink pad and lay your ribbon down on the ink, and then take like a sponge dauber or even a regular sponge, anything where you could hold it down to the pad and then just pull it through. You might have to do that a couple of times, but that will also work. Hope that helps. Another way to dye ribbon too is, you don't usually get the vibrant like blackberry color that you would get here, but is to take a re-inker and then drop it in a tiny bit of water and then just soak your ribbon. Okay, so moving right along. Okay, so then you're going to bring in your sentiment, and we are going to make this element of behind the sentiment with the ribbon. And I found the best way to do that is by using some dimensionals. So I'm going to put, actually I think I might use 4 dimensionals, so I make sure I catch the ribbon where I want it. Okay, and then start down here at the bottom. So I'm going to peel, make sure I do that. I'm going to peel these off, the backings off. And I'm going to start my ribbon. Let me make sure I've got this on the right, going the right direction. Oop, nope, I don't. Okay, I'm going to start my ribbon here. I'm just going to lay it right over that dimensional, and then I'm just going to bend it, come back over that way, bend it, come back over this way. And as you do that, you want to try to make these uniform as possible, where it's sticking out from the die. And then the last one up here, and is it quite, oh, so sorry, I'm not quite on camera. Oh, I think you could see it, but I wasn't quite where I should have been, sorry. Okay, and then to add that, so that's what it's going to look like. If you want to trim the ends off, obviously you can do that. I don't have my good ribbon scissors in here with me. Well, actually I could use these maybe. Let's see. Which way I want that to go. I'm going to say, no, I'm going to say this way. Oh yeah, those work pretty good. Actually, I'll go the opposite direction on this one. Okay. Those were my mama's sewing scissors. My mama, she's passed away, but she lived to almost 101 years old, so spent a lot of my life with her, miss her dearly. All right, so that's going to go right there, and I am actually going to use glue on this part. You could use more dimensionals, but I don't want my element to stick up a lot from where it's already on dimensionals, so I'm just going to use glue here. You get it too thick, then you end up having to pay extra postage. We all know about that, don't we? And postage is already expensive. So I'm going to sort of offset mine. But you could put it in the middle if you wanted. Actually, maybe I'll do that just to be different. Yeah, I think I will. All right. Put that down. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here are the two. Ooh. Done. They look pretty. I just love it. I'm noticing as I've got these two side by side. I think I picked up very vanilla for this background. You can sort of see it doesn't show up so much in the camera, but it does in real life. But actually, I'm glad I kind of made that mistake, because it's kind of nice to like experiment and see what you like best. I actually think I like it better on the basic white, but that just brings another sort of muted piece that I kind of like that one too. So if you liked it, I hope if you're watching me on my YouTube channel that you will give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can come back and visit me again. And until then, have a great day. See you soon.